Welcome back to Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, and it's another special episode because, as of this recording, Tuesday, January 23rd, this morning we got our 2024 Oscar nominations. And if you saw yesterday's video, I gave you my predictions, and I did pretty good. I will say that I had 9 out of 10 for Best Picture, and I did reasonably well with most of the acting categories. But we're gonna run down the nominations as they were announced, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on them. But we'll start with Best Picture. What got nominated? The film American Fiction got nominated. The film Anatomy of a Fall. Barbie, which had 2 of the biggest snubs of the day. We'll get into that in just a second. The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Bradley Cooper's film. Oppenheimer, which is quite obviously after today the front runner for Best Picture. The film Past Lives, Poor Things, and then The Zone of Interest, and that's the one I did not select. I had The Color Purple in there, which was kind of like the hey grab bag. That's what I called it. But anyways. My thoughts on that are, they're all there's no real surprise there. So the 10 films that were nominated were the 10 films that pretty much everybody expected. I could have seen, instead of Zone of Interest, a number of different films getting in there, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really weigh in on it. But it's been doing well with other nominations and other awards shows. So yeah, that's your 10. I think now Oppenheimer is the front runner. So Oppenheimer led all films with 13 nominations, and usually when a film leads the nominations category, it's not a great sign, just because that film typically historically does not do well at the Oscars. But Oppenheimer is going to clean up, I think, and we'll get into the other nominations they got. But Poor Things, and I think this is a kind of 1A, 1B. I could see where Poor Things can, they're number 2 on the nomination list for totals with 11. And they did very well. That film did very well at the nominations, and it's a 1A, 1B type thing, I think. And I could see where come March, when the Oscars are held, I could see where Poor Things can gain some traction on, hey, it's the best film of the year, even though Oppenheimer has really led the way since it came out. But then Killers of the Flower Moon had 10. I really thought that the Academy was going to snub Scorsese, and but they didn't. But they did. They snubbed old Leo, which was weird. It's got to be a first, for the Academy. And then Barbie with 8, 2 biggest snubs in those, and we'll get into them. Maestro was 7. Maestro did very well at the, so I can see where Bradley Cooper is, fist bumping. Anyways, I was dumb. The Holdovers, American Fiction, Zone of Interest, and Anatomy of a Fall all had 5. Napoleon had 3, which was weird because that movie was garbage. Nyad, the only 2 nominations Nyad got was for 2, was Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, which is It's like, what are we doing? I could have seen where, the Academy slipped that one in as the number 10 spot. And then Past Lives had 2. So yeah, I think it's either Oppenheimer, which if I was a betting person, I would bet on Oppenheimer, or the Poor Things, and everything else. I think if Greta Gerwig had gotten in on director, or Margot Robbie with Best Actress, I could see where Barbie would be kind of a dark horse. And I always thought Barbie was going to be a 1A or 1B to Oppenheimer's 1A or 1B, but I just don't think so now. For Best Actor in a Leading Role, we had Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, which I almost picked, but I didn't want to, it was kind of the cool thing to pick him. I thought I saw everybody else picking him. I was like, I don't know, man. I haven't seen Rustin, so I can't really speak on his performance, but the Academy doesn't really do a whole lot of first-time actors. Bradley Cooper's been nominated before. Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I had everybody but Domingo. I had DiCaprio. So DiCaprio misses out here, and I didn't do the research, but I wonder when the last time DiCaprio was in a Best Picture nominated film but did not get a nomination for Best Actor or Supporting Actor. I didn't do the homework, but I'm interested in that, is because I think this is probably the first time it's happened, and I really liked his performance. It was really good, and I think the Academy missed this one, and I think they probably did it because they're like, oh, DiCaprio's been he's been nominated so many times before. Coleman Domingo, this is his first nomination. He fits in a demographic that the Academy is trying to reach, the LGBTQ demographic. I'm not saying that's why they put him in here. I'm just saying he is open. He is I think the first openly gay actor to be nominated for Best Black. Maybe it's the first openly black gay actor to be nominated for Best Actor. But anyways, good for him. That's awesome. And I don't see a route for him to win, but it is pretty exciting for him. So actor in supporting role, Sterling K. Brown, which I picked, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, and De Niro was in Killers of the Flower Moon, Ryan Gosling in Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. No surprises there, really. If you wanted to pick a surprise, I think maybe Sterling K. Brown could have been. The snub, if you want to call it a snub, is Willem Dafoe. Him and Ruffalo, I think, cannibalized themselves. Their performances were both equally good, but I don't think they were good enough to stand in 2 spots, to occupy two of the 5 spots here. But this is Robert Downey Jr. I think it's him or Gosling. Even though De Niro was really good. I haven't seen Poor Things, and I haven't seen American Fiction, but I think they're both Killers of the Flower Moon, a good movie. Robert De Niro really stands up on that one. And Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic in Oppenheimer, so no real surprises there. You got actress in a leading role. Annette Bening, she was kind of the surprise, even though she's been gaining some steam here recently for Naiad. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. She was people were very lukewarm on her as a leading role nomination. Carey Mulligan in Maestro. I don't know why I didn't pick Carey Mulligan when I did these, but I didn't really like her performance in that film. You can see my 5-minute review on it. I think it's on Friday this week. But and then Emma Stone in Poor Things. Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone are the 1A, 1B here. Everybody else is just kind of along for the ride. And ultimately, I think it's Gladstone's. I don't know. It's Emma Stone. I don't know. I could see where Lily Gladstone's the first Native American person nominated for a Best Actor or Actress award at the Academy Awards. So that's really cool. So you have your first openly black gay man nominated for a lead actor and your first Native American person. So I mean, the Academy is hitting their diversity boxes. That's always been a thing for them since Academies or Oscars So White or whatever it was, the hashtag like 10 years ago. But both of those performances, from what I understand, Coleman Domingo is I haven't seen it, but it was very deserving. And then Lily Gladstone, very good here in Killers of the Flower Moon. So it's not like they're just grabbed out of thin air and just put in these, given a nomination when it wasn't deserved. So yeah, actress in a supporting role. You have Emily Blunt, who has been there. She's probably the front runner. Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple. I think that was the Color Purple's only nomination. America Ferrera was the surprise for Barbie, and it's weird that. Let's go back to. All right, I'll finish this out, and then we'll go back to actress in a leading role. Jodie Foster and Nyad. So Nyad's two nominations were Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress. And the performances were good. I had problems with the movie, but the performances are good, even though Annette Bening just kind of swims the entire time. But hey, she had to train to swim, and as far as I know, she was actually swimming. So that's cool. Good for her. And Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers gets that 5th spot. I could see where Randolph wins. I think it's between Blunt and Randolph, and I could see Randolph's a first time nominee. Ferrera's a first time nominee. Danielle Brooks is a first time nominee. So a lot of first timers here, and that's pretty cool. But I could see where Randolph wins, but I think it's between Blunt and Randolph, and we'll see how all the other award shows go, and who cleans up at those to kind of give us the inside look at that. But let's go back to actress. I didn't even mention it, and I don't know why I didn't, but Margot Robbie was snubbed here, and it's ridiculous that she was. She is, the entire movie is about her being snubbed, which is fitting, I guess. But the entire movie is about women being snubbed for, for things, and she's completely snubbed here. And Sandra Hüller is, I don't know why she was nominated over Margot Robbie. Robbie's performance is really, really great as Barbie. But it's weird, man. The Academy is so weird, and when J-Lo missed out on Best Supporting Actress when she was the front runner, the entire awards season leading up to the Oscars a couple years ago, for her performance in the movie Hustlers. That's what it's called. She's the stripper. Yeah. Anyways, it's just I feel real bad for Margot here. She would have been, I think, first time. But no, maybe not. Maybe wasn't she? I don't know if she was nominated for was she in Bombshell? I don't know. Anyways, she's the snub in the actress category. No real snubs in the Best Supporting Actress. Let's go to animated feature film. The Boy and the Heron. That was a given. The Disney film Elemental, another given. It's a Pixar film. Nimona. I haven't seen it. Heard it's really good. Robot Dreams. Also haven't seen that. And I don't know much about it. That was a surprise. So the Robot Dreams was a surprise. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think this is the Boy and the Heron's award to lose. I was really surprised that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie didn't get nominated. And maybe Robot Dreams is really good, but I haven't seen it, and I've seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that was really good. Has the same type of animation as Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but also tells a very heartwarming story, but told through the eyes or the lens of a teenager who's tasked with essentially saving the planet, or New York, or wherever they're at. But yeah, they're the snub here, I think. But The Boy and the Heron is probably the front runner. Cinematography, El Conde. I haven't seen it. Don't know much about it. Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things were the nominees. Killers of the Flower Moon was a given. Oppenheimer was a given. Maestro is a bit of a surprise, but the shots in that film are really good. Bradley Cooper's a really gifted filmmaker. Haven't seen Poor Things. Costume design. Barbie, kind of a given. Killers of the Flower Moon, another good one. Napoleon. The costumes in that were pretty good. So I don't have much qualms with that, even though I said, I don't understand how I got 3 nominations because the film was garbage. Oppenheimer, I mean, what kind of costumes are we doing in Oppenheimer? Are we doing fucking, hats and suits? I mean, the film takes place in the 40s and 50s. And then Poor Things, that's another good one. So the Oppenheimer one is kind of puzzling, but I don't have a problem with it. I just don't know if it fits. But and then directing, the other big one. So Justin Triet for Anatomy of Fall, that was the surprise here. Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Glazer and Triet are the surprises here. Our snub or snubs was Alexander Payne for The Holdovers. I absolutely think he's deserving. And probably the biggest snub is Greta Gerwig for Barbie. And it's interesting is because you had the opportunity to nominate a female. And no, I'm sorry. Multiple females. Justine Triet is a female. And it's just I don't know. I haven't seen those movies, so, like Anatomy of Fall or Zone of Interest, so I can't really comment. But I have seen Barbie, and I have seen The Holdovers, and the amount of love the Holdovers has been getting, and the amount of love the Barbie's been getting, just doesn't make sense to. Now these are all white people here. There's no people of color. But yeah, I don't know. Gerwig was the biggest snub, and I feel bad. But Barbie took the biggest hit. Had it gotten those 2 nominations, Best Actress and Best Director, I think you'd be talking about Barbie being your front runner. But because it didn't get the Best Director, now, what was the Ben Affleck movie? Argo? Yeah, Argo. Where he got snubbed for Best Director, but Argo won Best Picture. So it's happened before. It could happen again. I just don't think it does. I'm not going to run through the Best Documentary. Film editing, that's one. So this is pretty. So if you win film editing, yeah, that's probably your inside track to Best Picture. And so Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So 4 of those are pretty. I just think Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, there's a lot of editing in that film, and just how it's put together. I might change my mind when I see Poor Things, though. Makeup and hairstyling. Golda, haven't seen it. Maestro, okay. Oppenheimer, all right. Poor Things, yep. And Society of the Snow, that was a good movie. And I'm honestly kind of surprised it didn't get more love for Best Picture, but Best Original Score, American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Oh, John Williams makes his appearance again, and that's the film's only nomination. Didn't even get VFX or anything, even though it had a severely de-aged Harrison Ford throughout the film, which is weird. Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Best Original Song, and this is a good one. So, Diane Warren gets nominated again for her song "The Fire Inside" from the film Flamin' Hot, the Hot Cheetos movie on Hulu. Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt get nominated for "I'm Just Ken," the Ryan Gosling song from Barbie, and I hope he performs it at the Oscars. They need to throw everything they have to at Gosling to get him to perform that. John Batiste and Dan Wilson. I'm a big John Batiste fan. For their song "It Never Went Away" from American Symphony, and Scott George Wazazi. I'm not gonna pronounce it. I just tried, but "A Song for My People." The song from Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it's the song that plays at the end, but I'm not sure. And then Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell for "What Was I Made For" from Barbie. I think the two Barbie songs are the 1A, 1B. I could see where "I'm Just Ken" gets it just because it's so fucking catchy. But Billie Eilish, the better song is "What Was I Made For." And she won last year or year before last. Production design, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I'm not going to do the short films. Best sound, The Creator. That's its only. I think it's only. Nope. That's one of two nominations for that film. Maestro, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest. Visual effects. Sound is another big one that kind of gives you the inside track of what movies really, maybe not, because a lot of more other films were nominated, but somebody just texted me on my watch. Visual effects, The Creator, Godzilla -1. I saw the reaction video to the VFX team for Godzilla -1 when they got nominated, and it was so heartwarming. They were so happy. It's the first Godzilla film to ever be nominated for an Oscar, and it was it's the best Godzilla film, but really cool. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon. Just writing, best adapted screenplay. So, American Fiction, Barbie. So Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach get nominated for their screenplay, but Gerwig doesn't get nominated for Best Director. Weird, right? Weird. Oppenheimer, Nolan gets nominated there. Tony McNamara for Poor Things, and then Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. I think the big snub here was Scorsese is... because he was credited as a writer for the Killers of the Flower Moon screenplay. Best Original Screenplay is Justine Triet, and Arthur Harari. Sure. For Anatomy of Fall. David Hemmingson for The Holdovers. Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer for Maestro. Sammy Birch and Alex Mechanic for May December. I think that's the May December's only nomination. And then Celine Song for Past Lives. So I think Bradley Cooper's probably got I think he's got the inside track here. And then the inside track for adapted's got to be Nolan. But yeah, so that's the nominations, and my my reaction to this is that in a year where the best films were pretty established, I feel like the Oscars did a good enough job of giving us some curveballs, and sometimes they zig when we zag, and that's fun. Sometimes, other times it kind of sucks for feel-good films that are quite obviously very good, do well at the box office, and have a ton of social media presence and word of mouth, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. Barbie. So, anyways, tell me what you thought about these nominations in the comments. Hit the podcast up on social media. But before you do that, hit the subscribe button when it pops up so you don't miss any future content right here on the podcast. But you want to follow us on social media. We're at Movie Draft House. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube where you're watching us. We're doing big things, so give us a like, follow, subscribe. And don't forget that the podcast releases weekly every Thursday on your favorite podcast streaming platform. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, and we're right there. And we'll catch you tomorrow for whatever 5-minute review I have tomorrow. What is it? The Holdovers, maybe? We'll see you then.